wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic podcast. This is Steve coming to you from Conway, Arkansas, and today we're going to continue our discussion of the Enchiridion of Epictetus. We are nearing the end of the book, and as we near the end, the more advanced lessons of the book, Epictetus reminds us, okay, you know the stuff, you know what's important, now it's time to put it into action, and do not delay, because your time is short. How many times have we read this stuff, but we haven't changed our behavior? If we don't put this into action, this wisdom into action, then it means nothing. So that's one thing we're going to keep in mind as we go through the readings today. It's time to act, and if we wait till tomorrow, it may well be too late. Chapter 50.
Whatever principles you put before you, hold fast to them as laws which it would be impious to transgress. But pay no heed to what anyone says of you, for this is something beyond your own control.
Chapter 51.
How long will you wait to think yourself worthy of the highest, and transgress in nothing the clear pronouncement of reason? You have received the precepts which you ought to accept, and you have accepted them. Why then do you still wait for a master? That you may delay the amendment of yourself till he comes? You are a youth no longer. You are now a full-grown man. If you now are careless and indolent, and are always putting off, fixing one day after another as the limit when you might begin attending to yourself, then, living or dying, you will make no progress, but will continue unaware in ignorance. Therefore make up your mind before it is too late to live as one who is mature and proficient, and let all that seems best to you be a law that you cannot transgress. And if you encounter anything troublesome or pleasant or glorious or inglorious, remember that the hour of struggle is come, the Olympic contest is here, and you may put off no longer. And that one day and one action determines whether the progress you have achieved is lost or maintained. This is how Socrates attained perfection, paying heed to nothing but reason in all that he encountered. And if you are not yet Socrates, yet you ought to live as one who would wish to be Socrates.
So the first reading today, Epictetus tells us that we need to pretend that it would be impious for us to transgress the rules we have learned, the ideas we have learned, these rules of conduct, how to act like a Stoic. Assume that if you violate these basic rules, living according to nature, accepting things out of your power, things like that, assume that if you violate that, you're making the gods mad, okay? So you are being impious. So start living as if everything depends on living up to these principles. And once again, if someone says, hey, you're not doing that right, or you're being an idiot, remember that their opinions are of no concern of yours, for their opinion is out of your power. Then he goes on to say, how much longer will you delay your study of philosophy? Why are you waiting? You're going to be an amateur your entire life. You're not going to progress to the master of your own life if you keep staying at this novice level. You keep playing with the basic toys of Stoicism, the basic building blocks, but you're not advancing. You're not becoming a master. And if you constantly stay at that basic level where you're always starting but never finishing, then you will forever be an amateur Stoic, a novice. Much like Seneca tells us, we need to stop preparing to live all the time. Many people reach the end of their lives only to realize on their deathbed that they're still preparing to live. They have never begun the journey. They have all these ideas of what they should do, what they should be, how they should act, but they put it off, they put it off, they put it off, but they do not actually begin to live up to those principles. And Epictetus is saying something very similar here. We have to act like an adult, put away childish ways. It's no longer time to be sitting around and waiting for another teacher to show up to explain it even better. We have a basic grasp of these principles. We need to start living it and not sitting around and hoping to learn another nugget of wisdom from someone that might help us a little bit here or there. We need to just put what we know into action. He goes on to say that now's the Olympic Games. Life is the Olympics. It's time to act and to bring everything we have to bear. Our fortitude, our wisdom, our temperance, our knowledge of justice, and put it all into action out there in the arena of life. And he says if we fail to do so, it's not like if you fail to do so, well, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. The way he words it here, if you fail at the Olympic Games, if you fail in life living up to your principles, you've lost the progress you've made. It's not like you're just set back slightly. You're kind of, you have to prove once again to yourself and to the universe that you accept Stoic principles because you have obviously failed to live up to them, which is why becoming a sage is pretty difficult. And lastly, he says, remember that Socrates tended only to reason, essentially. He focused on that as his primary goal, and we ourselves should model ourselves after Socrates. For we may not be a Socrates, but we should live as if we are someone who wishes to become a Socrates. One of the reasons why every practicing Stoic ought to go to Plato's work and read about Socrates. And Xenophon's work as well, and read about the life of Socrates. Who was this guy? What do they find so interesting about him? And it's his use of reason to figure out. A lot of times he just figures out that he doesn't know the answer to something, or that the person he's arguing with is way more confident than they should be about their opinions. And that's kind of the lesson you learn over and over again a lot of times from Socrates, but well worth a read, especially reading about how Socrates died, his courage of how he handled that. That's something that comes up in Stoicism over and over again. I did some episodes over Socrates a while back. You can go back in the show and find those. So now's the time. We've been training. We've been learning little bits here and there. Even if you can't remember all of your Stoic principles at once, write down your top 3 and say, these are commandments to myself that I shall not violate. I will treat these things as unbreakable. I'm going to live up to these things. Maybe it's just some general rules of life that you have. Like, I am no longer going to drink to excess. I am no longer going to eat seconds. Simple rules of life like that. You can set up a couple and say, I won't violate these. And when you have not violated them for 2 months, then you can add a few more conditions. And you can build yourself up to, I shall remain indifferent to indifference. But that may take some time to work on. So we are building ourselves up, but we need to be out there in the world. We can't just stay at home and read about Stoicism all the time. We have to put this stuff into action, and we have to make progress. We have to advance. We don't just read the same introductory texts on Stoicism over and over again. We need to get more and more advanced. We need to branch out from ethics into some study of the physics and so forth, just so we can expand our knowledge of the philosophy. We need to ensure that we're part of a community that we are engaging with. So these are the things to think about. I hope you can see where you are making progress, and I hope that you're not like me, because I feel pretty chastised when he says stop putting it off, because sometimes I feel like, though I'm talking about it, I may not be living up to the level of stoicism that I should be. So let me know, how are you making progress? What have you done how are you living your life now that shows that you have progressed from where you were when you started practicing stoicism? Let me know at sundaystoic@gmail.com, and feel free, if you want, to send me a voice clip, and I can put it on the show in the future, so on and so forth. So we're almost done with the Enchiridion. I hope you've enjoyed going through this text with me. If you have any other works you'd like me to look at, let me know. SundayStoic@gmail.com. You can support the show at Patreon, patreon.com/SundayStoic. And until I talk to you again, don't forget to get out there. The Olympic Games are here. Seize the opportunity. Seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team. Earn rewards by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. And as Steve always says, Carpe diem.